Imagine dying from cigarettes that you've never smoked, even a puff, just because of the fact that you are living and breathing beside someone that does it. That's secondhand smoke. It's a killer that skips the smoker and goes for the innocent. He doesn't care whether you smoke or not. Welcome back to our series on cigarette and its consequences, where we strip away the lies and bring the truth to open. In episode 1, we met Chuka, a hardworking Nigerian father from Aba who thought cigarettes were helping him manage stress. But with every puff, his body was being poisoned. Now in episode 2, we zoom out and look at around Chuka, his wife Amara, and his little girl Maya. What happens to them when they don't smoke? They're dying of cigarettes. This is a part of tobacco companies that they never advertise. You will never see on their packets that secondhand smoke kills, or those that are beside the smokers can die from cigarettes. It was a very beautiful day, and Mara was preparing Maya for school. As usual, Chuka was lighting up his cigarette to smoke at the balcony, and he thinks he was being careful because he's not smoking inside the house. But he doesn't know that this cigarette that he's smoking at the balcony diffuses and enters inside his house. Secondhand smoke is not a respecter of protocol or person. He has a poison on his shirt, on his fingers, on his breath, on his hair, and now he picks up his baby girl to hug. So what do you think will happen to Maya when Chuka embraces her? She will inhale rat poison, inhale formaldehyde, benzene and carbon monoxide, the same killers we saw in episode 1. And that's how third-hand smoke works. It clings to the surfaces, lingers in fabrics, floats in air long after the cigarette is out. This second-hand smoke is a deadly mix of side stream smoke and mainstream smoke. That is the smoke that comes out from the end of the cigarette and the one that the smoker sends out respectively. This smoke contains 250 harmful chemicals, of which 70 of them are known to cause cancer. For a developing child like Maya, who is just 5 years old and her organs are not fully developed, the toxic chemicals will hit her system harder. Tar and the fine particle, that is those small particles that you cannot see with your naked eyes, tar and fine particles will coat Chuka's daughter's lungs. This will cause her to cough very hard. She will wheeze, struggling for air, and it might even lead to asthma. We have what we call cilia, tiny hair-like structures that are found in the respiratory tract of everybody, including Chuka's little girl. Cilia helps to clear mucus from the respiratory tract. If there is no cilia in the respiratory tract, it will now leave Maya's respiratory system open to infections like pneumonia and bronchitis. Lead and toluene will seep into Maya's brain, slowing development and affecting her memory, learning, and behavior. You start hearing a mother saying, my father was not dull, my mother was not dull. Even your father here is not a dull man. He used to take first in class. I don't know where you are coming from. It's a cigarette that her father is smoking that is affecting her, that is making her to be dull. Moving to Amara, her mother, the carbon monoxide that is found in this secondhand smoke will bind to her red blood cell faster than oxygen, reducing the oxygen supply to her heart. What do you think will become of her if less oxygen is reaching her heart? I leave the questions for you guys to answer. Long-term exposure will also increase Amara's risk of stroke, heart disease, and lung cancer, even without smoking. For women, secondhand smoke increases the risk of breast cancer and pregnancy complications, and most at times, it leads to infertility. It can trigger frequent headaches, dizziness, and shortness of breath. And those are the symptoms that we saw in episode 1 that Amara has been quietly enduring. Like I mentioned in episode 1, we have 1.3 million people that die every year of secondhand smoke. Children exposed to secondhand smoke have triple risks of respiratory infections and double risks of developing asthma. Women exposed to this secondhand smoke at home are at higher risks of miscarriages, giving birth to babies that are of low birth weight, and infertility. In Nigeria and Africa as a whole, secondhand smoke is very common in buses, taxis, homes, bars, marketplaces due to weak enforcement of public smoking bans. Cigarette doesn't just destroy the smoke, they create collateral damage that breaks the family from within. In episode 3, we are going to see how this damage becomes very visible when Maya collapses in school and Amara lands in the hospital with serious chest pain, and Chuka is forced to choose between the cigarette in his hands and the family that is slowly slipping away from his finger. In episode 3, we are going to be looking at the wake-up call when it's almost too late. Don't miss it, because the warning signs you ignore today might become regrets tomorrow. Thank you for staying till the end of this episode, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow for more upcoming episodes. Thank you and bye.